standing on holy ground, feeling the grace of knowing there is only God. And we say yes to life, and we say yes to love, knowing that heaven is within us right here and now. And we say yes to life, and we say yes to love. In this sacred sanctuary we are one. Welcome home.
Can you feel the love on this
Holy ground, standing on holy ground. Nothing can divide us. Love will always guide us. Holy ground, standing on holy ground. Feeling the grace of knowing there is only God. And we say yes to life, and we say yes to love, knowing that heaven is within us right here and now. And we say yes to life, and we say yes to love. In this sacred sanctuary we are one. Welcome home.
Can you feel the joy?
Welcome home.
Welcome. Can you feel the peace?
Welcome home.
Welcome. Can you feel the joy?
In this sacred sanctuary we are one. In this blessed sanctuary we are one. In this loving sanctuary we are one. Welcome home.
Good morning. Well, we are back from Asilomar, along with a number of people in our audience, so thank you very much for showing up today, as well as all last week. It was a wonderful time, and for those of you that have gone historically but were not able to go this year, I just want you to know I kept seeing you on the campus. I remembered when Care gave her workshop at Asilomar 13 years ago. And you guys were there, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful progression of time. So I'm just grateful we're all here. Thank you very much. And I'm grateful that the people are here in the room that we need to have to do our schedule or do our program. And so that actually starts upstairs with Jean. Good morning, Jean. Thank you. Thank you. And because of him, we can hear and see online, which is a great benefit because we projected Martha's talk at Asilomar on Thursday. It was one of those days. It's all a big blur. But we projected her talk so that everybody could see her and hear her. And because of this technology, we can do that. And just like here, she got a standing ovation. So just passing that along. Also saying thank you very much to Peggy, who is able to do her job as Facebook manager at home. And so Peggy Huber, thank you very much. She's our webmaster for both here and the Asilomar retreat, so she's been overworked. So thank you very much, Peg. And also, thank you to our music team today. Christy Cohen, I saw you at Asilomar in my mind, and, and David Olivas, you can't tell, you might be there one day. So thank you. You and Jill, you might decide it's a must do. Who knows? And our beautiful Jan Uebersetzig, who is our practitioner on duty today. Yes, yay. Yes, yes. So, as our practitioner, Jan also did the pre-service meditation. I know a wonderful job at that. She always does. And then after service, she is available if any of you would like individual prayer. And so you can meet with her on the on my right, the west side of the sanctuary, after service if you would like to have prayer. She'll wait for you for just a moment. If you don't show up immediately, she'll go to lunch, just like the rest of you did. So, so don't dawdle if you want prayer. But I do want to say thank you to all of our practitioners because they hold us all in prayer and do a wonderful job. You know, one of the beautiful things about Asilomar is we also have a ministry of prayer up there because as a group, New Thought knows, not thinks, not hopes, but knows that prayer works. And so we use it, and it demonstrates in our lives as improved conditions and as something that people often don't understand. And that is that it allows us to use all things in our life for good, which is exactly what Martha talked about last week. Being able to use everything for our spiritual growth. And one of the things that Martha was considering prior to the detention, she and I were supposed to meet. This was how we did not meet, but we were supposed to meet to talk about the School of Ministry for her. And oftentimes, and this is what I told her, and this was my experience too, when you have a really sincere desire to serve God and humankind, which is God, when you have that really sincere desire to serve as a minister, the first class is not on the curriculum. The first class is what happens immediately in your life that allows you to cleanse away whatever might stand in your way of doing that job. And so Martha has graduated from her first class of the School of Ministry, as you all heard. So, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. We're meeting Wednesday for that lunch that got postponed. So, I do want to remind you, we have in our ministry of prayer the ability for you to make prayer requests. And those requests come through our website at www.somchurch.org. And they come directly to me. I start the prayer and send it on to all of our practitioners. And we know that this supports us through our lives, both for the things that appear to be challenges and also for the beautiful demonstration of new conditions and new ways of being that also is of great support to us. So I know that any of you desiring to use that, you can just go online. The other thing that I would like to encourage you is to work with a practitioner. If you have something that's going on in your life and you want to know how to apply the science of mind to that, I'd like you to know that you can do it that way. Work with a practitioner, have individual private lessons in how to bring the science of mind into your life. So it is time now for our monthly song, which is All I Ask of You. Ooh, yes. Coming back from Asilomar, and this song is truly something that I think of as my theme song. It's not fair because it wasn't written by me, and none of that happened because of me, but sometimes when you hear a song, you know that it completely portrays what you want to say.
Is forever to remember.
Just know, Chris, that when I was a little girl, I believed Beethoven wrote the Moonlight Sonata for me. And I still believe that. So let's do the affirmation. It says here in red, right on my notes. And it's a good one. So join with me. I stand revealed as the perfect child of the perfect Father. I am now expressing my true self. All that the Father hath is mine. I draw from the spiritual treasure house all that I need. All is well. And before the invocation today, I'm going to share with you a prayer written by a 16th century nun and mystic, Saint Teresa de Avila. What surprised me about this piece is how frighteningly well this 16th century woman knows me. So this is her. Keep in mind, this is written by a saint who is a fully fleshed out woman. This should make us all feel better. It is witty and profound and filled with unfettered humanness, not saintliness. It is such a valuable source for a sound, honest list of prayerful entreaties worthy to bring before God. If you are not old enough or not quite ready for this prayer, you know someone who is. This is St. Teresa's prayer. Lord, you know me better than I do myself, that I am growing older and will someday be old. Keep me from the fatal habit of thinking that I must say something on every subject and on every occasion. Release me from craving to straighten out everybody's affairs. Make me thoughtful but not moody, helpful but not bossy. With my vast store of wisdom, it seems a pity not to use it all. But you know, Lord, I want to leave this world with a few friends. So keep my mind free from the recital of endless details. Give me the wings to get to the point. Seal my lips on my aches and pains. They are increasing, and love of rehearsing them is becoming sweeter as the years go by. I dare not ask for improved memory, but for a growing humility and a lessening cocksureness when my memory seems to clash with the memories of others. Teach me the glorious lesson that occasionally I may be mistaken. Keep me reasonably sweet, for a sour old person is one of the crowning works of the devil. Give me the ability to see good things in unexpected places and talents in unexpected people, and give me, O Lord, the grace to tell them so. Amen. Amen. Isn't that absolutely wonderful? I'm such a fan of hers, and I just found this, and I thought, oh my God, she's real. She's a woman. She's a woman as old as I am, with the same propensities to talk all the time. So, thank you, St. Teresa, for reaching out across the century with your words and for their urging quality that sounds the alarm for all of us. So now, let's enter into the invocation. Close your eyes if that is comfortable, or take a soft focus on something beautiful. This is our moment with God, and St. Teresa has left us another gift. Another prayer that I have kept close at hand for a long time. This prayer is surely her work as a mystic. If there is such a thing as a perfect prayer, I think this is it. In its seeming simplicity, it leaves nothing out. These 7 lines from the 16th century have the same impact and import today as when they were written. Let nothing disturb you. Let nothing frighten you. All things are passing away. God never changes. Patience obtains all things. Whoever has God lacks nothing. God alone suffices. As we enter into this service today, we do so grateful to St. Teresa for her inspiration. We are grateful for the presence of God that inspires everyone whose dedicated service and generosity make this sanctuary possible, meaningful, beautiful, and solvent. Grateful for the Board of Trustees that curates the intricate workings of this sanctuary with care and integrity. Grateful for the authentic, inspiring voice that is Reverend Chris, for the music that fills our hearts, for the technology that brings this service to the eyes and ears in this room and to many others online. Grateful for the meal in Harmony Hall that follows this service and brings us together to reflect the light that has reached us today. And so as a community, we say together, and so it is.
In the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. In the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. We are lifted, we are lifted higher. Yes, we are lifted, we are lifted up higher. Not in the words we say, peace in the world we make, God in every breath we take, joy is in our day. Yes, joy is in our day. Love in the words we say, peace in the world we make, God in every breath we take,
beautiful. Thank you, Christy. That was wonderful. And so today, I am back from Asilomar. I'm bringing you some inspiration from there. But I want to start with thanking Martha for her inspiration last week. Wasn't she marvelous? It is so wonderful to see someone do what we talk about. You know, we talk about applying the science of mind to every aspect of life, but few of us have the same experience that Viktor Frankl had in a concentration camp. The idea that when she first went in, everything is taken away from you is very indicative of how people were treated in the concentration camps. And she didn't mention this, but she said that her jewelry and her clothes and all of her things that she identified herself with were taken. But what she didn't tell you is that they don't even use your name generally. They use your prison number. Sound familiar? So to remember that she needed to protect her mind and that that was what was the most important thing, I find awe-inspiring. And I pass that on and thank her again. She is at a memorial service today for a friend's grandson, and so she's not here, but she will be back. She will be back over and over. And I think that that example of how we can protect our own mind and how we can begin to transform fear, because Ernest Holmes talks about the power of all emotion. All emotion is energy, and that we can transform that emotion from what appears to be negative to positive. We can transform anger, hurt, fear by using the energy, not by denying it, but by using it to recognize what is our next step. And she did that. She transformed fear into love. And she told us how she did it. And I find, I love the way the universe works, because I had no idea what was going to be in her talk, but about 2 months beforehand, I had seen that one of my dear friends, Reverend Jaime Taylor, was going to be presenting in her own church about Ho'oponopono. And I wrote her and said, you have to present that the first night at Asilomar. And so isn't it wonderful that as Martha talked about that particular spiritual process in the morning, that we were learning about it at night with no understanding at that point about how beautiful God is, about how connecting God is. When we listen to that intuition that says, oh yeah, this is right. And that's all I knew. I didn't know why. All I knew was that this is a spiritual practice that we needed to start the week with. Because in general, many of us don't have quite as traumatic a thing as that, but we'd had people there that had lost spouses. We had people there that had illnesses in the year in advance, and in the last 2 months had operations and things like that. There were people there that were burned out from ministry, burned out from service, burned out from the climate that is our particular country's culture right now. And what they came with was a desire to be renewed, to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, as the Bible says. And that's what happened. That's what happened. You could see over the week people remembering the light, people remembering the good. And that is the job that we all have. It's not to judge whether my trauma is better or worse or harder or easier than another, and it's not your job to trivialize whatever might have happened to you that has been difficult because somebody else had something harder. It is your job to do your own spiritual work. And that's what we go to Asilomar to do. And it's magnificent. because the grounds and the trees and the ocean and the sound of the ocean that you can hear all over the campus, the movement of light and the wonder of the mist coming in and leaving again is just renewing in itself. There's something, the divine gave us nature to remind us of who we are. But as I think about nature, I have to tell you what I came home to. Many of you know that I got a new kitten. Thank you, Joan Anderson. I did not intend to get a new kitten, but Joan's daughter brought a kitten the December 1st, the first Sunday in December, that she knew they couldn't keep. I don't know why that meant I had to, but somehow or another, that's how it went. And this little child, who was only about 6 weeks old when they brought him in the door, which means he was born around Halloween, this little child is pretty desperate. I mean, he's very loving, and that was one of the things that was obvious immediately, is that he liked being held. He purred when he was held. He didn't care who was holding him. Anybody was good enough. And, he transferred all that to me somehow. And he's been a joy. We've watched him grow. He's gotten bigger. He's more mischievous than ever. He's got a black mustache, and he's a tuxedo otherwise, and we call him Stash. And we haven't been away a whole lot. We've missed maybe 1 or 2 nights because of a vacation or something, but we've not been away on an extended period of time. And this is the first time that we've been away for 10 days. And, I told him ahead of time, because, you can talk to your animals, that. And we're all one. We can communicate. We can communicate with the trees, with the earth, with the animal kingdom, with the divine, and with each other. So I'm telling Stash before we leave, and the other 2, because there's 2 other cats. It's not like he's alone. Although he thinks he owns the universe, he's not alone. And I'm telling all 3 of them, listen, guys, we're going to be gone for 10 sleeps. We will be back. I have your back. We have someone coming in every day. They're going to take care of you. Be nice. Show up for them. Let them play with you and talk to you and things like that. So I give them all the instructions. Cats are not known for following instructions. They're like me. It's sort of like, yeah, I heard you, so I'm doing this, by the way. So they decided not to talk to our cat nanny. She never saw him. As far as they're concerned, they had a servant that came in and took care of everything that they needed, but they certainly didn't need to lower themselves to talk to her or to appear. And so she never once saw them, because as soon as she drove up, they hid. Which I think is unfortunate. They had a chance there to play, but they didn't take it. But when we got home last night, unpacking the car is a big process, and we were just starting. We walked in the door with the first load, and what do we hear? Candace, you'll get this. Where there's a plateau on the top of the stairs that you can look down over the staircase? Right there, Stash is yelling. This is not, oh, I'm just shy and it's a little mew. This is, meow! I'm not going to bore you with this for a long time, but it was like that for 10 minutes. We had to stop on the first load. And I walked up the stairs a little ways, and he's leaning over the edge, and he's yelling at me. And he's telling me this tale of woe about how he has been neglected, about it didn't matter that he was in an air-conditioned house during this heat wave, that it didn't matter that he had all the food that he needed and that his bathroom was cleaned every day. It didn't matter that his water was fresh every day. None of that mattered. What mattered was Jim and I were not home. And that was the only thing that mattered. And boy, did he beat us up. So we had to take out, it took about 15 minutes. It's like I got him in my arms, I'm talking to him, he's finally purring instead of screaming. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go out and get the stuff. No, you can't leave again. You're gonna have to calm down, boy, because we will be back. And that continued to today. He's not happy that I'm here. He's gonna have to get used to it again. So perhaps you've been like that at some point when your favorite person in the world isn't available to you because they actually haven't been called into being just to be your support system. And yet we know how precious our animals are. And we know that animals do communicate with us, sometimes a little more clearly than through meows. And I'm going to tell you a story later in this about somebody that had a macaw. But I do want you to know that this time, as mad as Stash is at us, this time was very worth it. And we had people that felt it was the best one yet. I don't know whether that's faulty memory about the history and therefore the present moment is always the best, or if in fact this truly was the best yet. But it was really wonderful. We had a number of presentations by really inspired speakers. We had people volunteer, ministers, practitioners, and musicians to give workshops. They were fabulous, and we learned a lot, and we laughed a lot, we cried, we enjoyed. We went in to study who we are and who are our spiritual teachers, and how have we learned from those experiences. And it includes the experiences of life that can be the teacher. Just like Martha talked about last week, sometimes it's the events in our life that is the teacher. At other times, it is a specific person. And Steve Van Meter, one of our very good friends, he's a minister up in Oregon now, but 31 years ago, he came to this church to take his practitioner training with me, and he was so cute. Steve now has totally white hair. When he came, that wasn't true. I didn't have any then either, but that's a different point. And he came in, and he and a friend of his were here, and they were church shopping, and they had met me at a class I was teaching in Burbank, and they liked my style. And his friend was a practitioner, and they wanted to find out how did I deal with practitioners, because they had been with some ministers that were a little bit crazy about it. And they liked what I had to say, but they said, because we were doing a private interview, they said, "But Chris, nobody there looks like me," meaning that our congregation was older at the time. And I said, "And if you don't stay, there never will be somebody that looks like you." Because when we walk into church, we look for somebody that looks like us, somebody we think can help us or can identify with what is our experience. And so they did stay. And Steve became the head of our AV department. He transformed it. He and Steve CiSanto and Steve Bosserman were our AV team. They rewired the whole place and changed out the soundboard and all sorts of stuff, and upgraded what we did. So Steve, why did he know all that and know how to do all that and coordinate all that? Well, it's because he's a musician as well as moving into ministry. He was making those moves to become a practitioner, and then later knew that call to ministry needed to send him to the school, all the things like that. So when Steve was young, when he was 16, I think he said, he knew he wanted to become a bass guitarist. He had gone to a concert with some friends, and he had a desire to become a bass player, and because he figured he could handle the number of strings on the bass guitar better than the ones on some of the others. It was like, I can get to 6, I can't get to 12. And So he needed to find a teacher, and interestingly enough, he ended up with a teacher named Randy Rhoda. And you may not know this, but this bass guitarist played with Ozzy Osbourne and was extremely well known. And he did teach Steve, but not only the guitar, but the fact that you have to become the music, you have to become the song. And he told Steve a number of things that Steve shared with us that I think are very profound. One is, what you don't play is as important as what you do play. The spaces, you have to create space in the music of your life. You have to create space to incorporate the rhythm of your life, to notice that what is played on all the keys, but also what is played in the silence is important. What is played in your meditation is important. Because if you never get quiet enough to hear the divine voice, the intuition within you, you'll never play the true song of your life. And so Steve took that in, and he's written a book, by the way, about this. His book is called Private Lessons, and he's speaking both about learning to be a bass guitarist and learning to be a metaphysician. Randy also told him, your playing will encompass the energy you are feeling. And in explaining that, he said, you can't play the blues unless you've had them. You can't speak legitimately about experience that you have not had and incorporated into your being. You can't play music that expresses without having that expression of the energy as an experience that you're drawing on. And that's what you felt last week, and I hope that that's what you feel all the time through your own movement, through your own time. Because we want to know how to use the experiences of our lives to transform ourselves, to be in the spiritual journey, and to recognize that that's what we are in all the time. And to see that all of it, even all this stuff that is going on in the culture that we might say, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me, or we might say, that has something to do with me, but I don't like it, or have judgments about, or all sorts of things that go on. All of it, if it catches your attention, you're capable of using it for your spiritual pathway. And before everybody got there, a week ago, Saturday, Jim and I had gone up early, and Saturday, was that breakfast, I think? It's been a lot of meals since then, but at breakfast in the large Crocker Hall, which is the dining hall at Asilomar, you have these beautiful round tables, and they have them set up, and they'll say, these are for certain groups. And we were there before our group got there, so we were considered leisure. And Jim and I got our food, and we walked out, and here's a leisure table, and it's got one woman sitting at it, lovely lady. And, and I say, do you mind if we join you? And she's like, great, have a chair. Now, there was another group that was on the grounds, and they also were a spiritual group. They also were a group that was looking at how to apply spirituality to the daily rhythm of life, and how to use it to deal more clearly with the events of life, and how to clear up our own consciousness so that we become all that we can be. And they primarily, they're interfaith, they take from every faith, but they have a primary focus on Sufi, on the Islamic Sufi understanding, which is the mystical arm of Islam. And magnificent, that's where you read Rumi and Hafiz and these people. And so they're using that, but they're also using all of religion to understand how to be in this world. Sound familiar? Yeah, sounds a lot like us. And so we're chatting with her, and she's got a bit of an accent, and and I know what that accent is because I have a lot of friends that are Iranian. I started meeting people from Iran when, and even though they would call it Persia, when the Shah fell, a lot of people began to come over here if they could get out, because they didn't want to be under the Islamic Republic. And so they fled. And I know people at that time. I met people in my workplace. Later, I would hire a woman who had come into the country and was looking for her first job. I hired her into our accounting department. I was personnel manager for a thrift and loan, and she was surprised because she had a necklace on, and I knew what it was. And she didn't expect anyone to know what it was. And I was like, oh. And she was like, talk to me. So I've been around a lot of people that have come from Iran. And in speaking with this woman, she had come here before the Shah was deposed to go to college. But then she couldn't really go back because the Shah was deposed. And so she's been here for 50 years. And we were talking, and she said, I've been here for a week, and in this beautiful place, and the teachings, and the time quiet, and the natural setting, for the first time this year, I have felt peace. But then I don't know why I have the right to feel peaceful with what is going on in my name, in my home country. And she said, I'm a citizen here. I don't want to go back, but I know how beautiful it is. I know the buildings. I know the culture. I know the wonder. I know the people. And people are dying. And I don't know how to deal with that. Now, this is called survivor guilt. Why have I been spared when everyone else has not been? And I think many of us are having some of those same questions. Do I have a right to be peaceful? Do I have a right to be joyful? Do I have a right to laugh? Do I have a right to be free to love? Based on what's going on in my name and with my tax dollars in another place around the world from me. And I told her, it appears to me, I said, first off, I want you to know that I started doing prayer for world peace in 1986, so that's 40 years ago. I've done 40 years of daily prayer for world peace. I've seen times when we have more of it and times when we have less of it. We never have it entirely, but it is a worthy prayer. And she said, well, does prayer really work if 40 years later you don't have anything close to it? And I said, yeah, it does. And peace is a yearning in the human heart. And it seems to me, from what I have seen over these 40 years where I have been working with it, that it is something that we yearn for, and we have to come to understand in each generation. There are some things that, and one type of knowledge, that when it is shared in the collective automatically moves into the experience of anyone born on the planet. So an example of that would be computers. I know that 5-year-olds can work my phone better than I can. And I'm aware of the fact that there seems to be a base of knowledge in the race consciousness about technology now that people can draw on, and the younger generation draws on a lot. But I also know that there are some types of wisdom that each person in each generation has to first yearn for, and then explore, and then become. And it's when we embody it that it becomes more present for everyone else. And so why is it appropriate that in a time of war, you do meditation on peace? And by the way, I have a reading that I do most years from Heraclides in 500 BCE. So this tells you this has been going on for a while. And he says, you don't understand the beauty of peace until you notice war. Just like you don't understand satisfaction until you have known want. It is in the world of opposites that we begin to understand and yearn for the divine in particular ways, like peace. And so we yearn for peace, and when you and I meditate on that and bring it into our experience and allow ourselves to have it, even with what all is going on in the world, we make the collective awareness of peace more available. And others then can pull on that to find it in themselves. And so does it work to meditate on peace on a regular basis? The answer is yes. Does it make a difference that you are disturbed by something that is happening? The answer is yes. Does it matter that you may feel like I can't really do anything about this, and yet in your yearning, you are doing something about it? Yes, it matters. Yes, it makes a difference. And yes, it opens the wisdom of the ages to the current generations. And that's why we're here. We are here to know the beloved God is here in every person, place, and thing. And that one of the things that's relevant to me is that we acknowledge that in all of the people we meet to the best of our ability. So when I told people the first night was that I would hope that they would use this week. I told them about that example. And I said, I really want you to use this week to heal in yourself whatever might be of concern, to allow yourself to experience the flashes of mystical understanding that Teresa of Avila understood, to bring that into the fact that we don't lose our humanness, but we increase our divinity. And so you're not here to act like you're a saint or that you know everything. Teresa of Avila wasn't a saint in her lifetime. The church decided that a couple of hundred years later when they looked at the good work that she had done. So, please understand that the pathway to sainthood isn't in this present life. It'll be in somebody's remembrance of you. And probably not of me, but, because they'll remember my stash better than me. But our job here is to allow ourselves, even in this place, in this time, in this world, to be moved by our oneness with the divine, to experience it first in ourselves. And I want to read a quote from Jane Goodall, because this is her beautiful words about her experience as a young woman going to Africa and sitting with the apes. And she said, lost in awe at the beauty around me, I must have slipped into a state of heightened awareness. It is hard, impossible really, to put into words the moment of truth that suddenly came upon me then. Even the mystics are unable to describe their brief flashes of spiritual ecstasy. It seemed to me, as I struggled afterwards to recall the experience, the self was utterly absent. I and the chimpanzees, the earth, and the trees around us that afternoon seemed to merge, to become one with the spiritual power of life itself. That afternoon, it had been as though an unseen hand had drawn back a curtain, and for the briefest moment, I had seen through such a window a flash of outsight. I had known timelessness and quiet ecstasy since a truth of which mainstream science is merely a small fraction. And I knew that the revelation would be with me for the rest of my life, imperfectly remembered, yet always within, a source of strength on which I could draw when life seemed harsh or cruel or desperate. All the time, I was getting closer to animals and nature, and as a result, closer to myself, and more in tune with the spiritual power that I felt all around. For those who have experienced the joy of being alone with nature, there is really little need to say more. For those who have not, no words of mine can describe the power, almost mystical knowledge of beauty and eternity that comes suddenly and all unexpected. And so I would invite you to remember that nature isn't like just at a Asilomar. Nature is here. It's everywhere. That if you have a garden and you are tending to it, that you have the opportunity for spiritual awakening. The great Mother, Father, God religions of the world notice the earth as the divine feminine and see that the womb of creation comes forward out of Mother Earth. That the bringing forward of life reminds us of who we are. And it's that memory that is important to our individual work. It is that memory that allows us to move back into the oneness that we are. I want to talk to you about another friend of mine. This is Reverend Dr. Dahlia Adams. She's now retired, but what a magnificent minister she is and being, and what a great background she has. She was a biologist before she became a minister, and she worked in Fuji. She has had a lot of really interesting experiences and a lot of deep wisdom. And when she got called into this spiritual pathway, she began to study New Thought. She's a Unity minister, retired, and she came to Florida to live at one point, and she had a young son, and they matured together. And as her son got older, he did really well in school, and he was attracted to the idea of assisting people, of helping people that had hearing disabilities. And so here he is in high school, and he gets a full scholarship to a well-known college that teaches people how to be with people and how to work with people and how to assist people with hearing disabilities. And so he takes that, and he's going to be leaving in 2 weeks to go away to school, and she and he are walking around at a mall someplace in Florida, and there's a pet store, and so they go in. Now, much like somehow I end up with a cat named Stash, they walk into this pet store, and there is a baby blue macaw. That's a bird. That's a parrot that's going to live a long, long time. That is a bird that is highly intelligent, and but at just a couple of months old, it's got a long time before it's going to get all the way up there. And she talks about her son, sees the bird, and they're talking about it and how wonderful it is. And the son says, "Can we get him?" Now, he's leaving in 2 weeks, so if I say, can we get him, who's really getting him? It's not the boy. It's going to be her pet to raise. And macaws are, because they're so brilliant, and because they mature a lot like our children, they do need attention. It's not just like, oh, go sit on your stand and don't bother me. And but she says yes. She says because she's in total denial that he's going to leave, And so she says yes. They pay $1,000. This is a long time ago. They pay $1,000 to have this bird and all of the things that it needs to live. And they can't even tell whether much like Stash, they couldn't even tell whether it was a boy or a girl, which I find very interesting that in much of the animal world, you don't really know what sex a baby is for a while because all of that has to develop. And so they can't get a handle on whether this bird is a boy or a girl. They decide to name it Kona. Now, in her talk, she wanted us to reflect on who were our spiritual teachers, and she brought up the fact that Kona became one of her great spiritual teachers. And that it was in this interaction in what would have been a silent household with her son gone, if Kona hadn't been there. And when she knew that her son was getting this scholarship, she was thrilled. She was proud of him, proud of his achievement, proud of the fact that he was selecting a profession that would guarantee him a secure financial and a rewarding personal experience of life, and that she wouldn't have to worry about him being successful in the world. There was a great calling for his job. And so she's thrilled for him on one level, as much as she's going to miss him. She's got Kona. She's starting to study about how to raise a macaw. And they do learn at about 2 years old that Kona is a girl. And after going back and forth, this is a boy, this is a girl, this is a boy, this is a girl. But they learn that Kona's a girl. And, they're having conversations because Kona not only understands and can speak words, actually can speak words, but she's not just parroting them. She's not just using these words, to make noise. She actually can put together sentences. And one example of that was at one point, Dahlia, who clearly is as much of a sap as I am, finds this little kitten that fits in the palm of her hand, just a very little child, and she brings it into the house, and she's thinking, well, Kona will like this companionship because she's already got a big dog, but the dog won't talk to Kona. Kona talks to the dog all the time. The dog walks through the house. She says, "Hi, Misty. Hi, Misty. Misty, stay and talk to me." Misty goes, "I'm sorry, I'm going to my room." So the dog won't talk to her, and she knows that she's trying to get Misty's, and she knows what Misty's job is in the house, by the way. So Dahlia brings in this baby and places it on the floor in front of the bird's perch, and Kona has a fit. She doesn't know what this being is, but she knows it's dangerous. Misty, come save me, there's a monster in the room, Misty. Literally, this bird is expressing itself, its fear, with that type of wording and calling on who she thinks can save her. And Misty, who doesn't particularly like Kona, walks into the room from the back, sees the kitten, goes over, smells it, licks it a little, gently picks it up, takes it back to Misty's room, cuddles around it, and becomes its segregate mother. So, the right thing happens all the way through. But here's Kona, terrified, right? Probably of the competition. So later, 2.5 years into her son's education at a 4-year school, her son calls her. And he says to her, "Mom, I'm doing well in school. I'm a straight A student, just like always. But this does not fulfill me. This doesn't work for me." It's not that I can't do the job, it's that the job does not fulfill me. And so I have quit, and I have given my scholarship to another student who does find fulfillment. And Dahlia, being a natural parent, says, "What? Have you lost your mind?" And she says, I proceed to yell at my son. And every time that he calls me over the next week, I yell at him about this decision, because I just can't believe that he's giving up this opportunity of an assured life because he wants to be an artist. You know, have you ever heard of a starving artist? What are you doing? He wants to be an artist. And he's told her that he's making that switch. And she's not real happy about it. And then she realizes that more important than the college education, that number one, that's gone. He's given it to somebody else. They're not going to give it back. That it's important for him to be fulfilled in what he does. That this calling to art to be an artist is important. And that she needs to practice what she's studying. Does that sound familiar to any of us? You know, you get into this place, all of a sudden you're like in judgment, and you awaken and realize it, and it's like, whoa. So in her study, I'm going to step over here, Jean, so you're going to have to make the screen bigger. But in her study, she starts to practice, and she's now got to reconcile with her son about all of this commotion that she's caused in her process of accepting his experience and knowing that it's good. And so she's working with that, and they're having conversations, and then he sends her his first piece of art. And she unwraps it, and it is a picture of Kona. And she takes this picture, which is really quite beautiful. She had a copy, she had it up on the screen. And this wonderful picture of this beautiful bird. And she shows it to Kona. And Kona does this. Wow, it's me, it's Kona! And is delighted. What would happen if we, and this is what her next step was, I'm not making this one up. She said, what would happen if we greeted each other every single time with that delight? With, wow, it's God, as Jim Montgomery. You know, wow, it's God, as Liz. You know, what happens if we could allow that enthusiasm, that recognition of the beauty and the grace of who we are to show up in our greeting to each other? And so I would like to ask you to stand right now, if you can, and if it's not comfortable, then just turn to a neighbor. But if you have the ability, stand up, face somebody else in the crowd. If you know their name, I want you to do this. I want you to say, wow, and greet them. And notice what that does for you. Notice. And try it with somebody else. Try it over and over. And I would simply ask you, how does that feel? Who wants to shout out to me how that feels? Good. Wow. Hard to explain wow. It's really good. It's amazing. Do you notice the energy? Uplifting. Do you notice the energy? Do you notice the connectivity that you didn't know you had? Does it take it out of everyday living and make it into something really amazing? What would happen if we could recognize God in every person all the time. Now, I'm not foolish. I know we're not going to be able to do that because there's moments when I'm so tied up in my own head that I can't pull it off. And I'm willing to admit that. I'm willing to understand that. But when we know it, we understand it, when we experience, which is why I got you to get up and do it, not to just act as if this is some, far off thing. When we do it and we connect, we create spiritual community, and that's what we're here about. That is the thing that then allows us to sit with another, to hear what it is that is their story, to understand that my cat was traumatized, and that it didn't matter that I had tried to explain it before, and it wouldn't matter if I said, can't you tell that I was having you taken care of, and don't you appreciate me, I left the air on for you. None of that mattered to Stash. What mattered was that he could tell me his upset, and he could be held, and he could be cared for. And that is not only true of my cat, that is true of each of us for each other. And that's the thing we need to remember. That's part of Martha's experience too, because of how much you miss each other if for some reason you are away and not able to reach out and not able to touch. And so it's important for us to know that we are here as the experience of God, and that God loves it when we get excited about it. Thank you. Wow! It's Christy. Wow, it's Chris. Yes, it is.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. And where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. As me, for where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer, here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, God is. Where I work, love is my career. And where I play, God is playing boldly, in and out and through me. As me. Do, 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 do. Oh,
where I dance my dance, my dance, wherever I go, where I pray and take and give and live. God is. Truth is. Love is. God is.
And so I'm simply inviting you to become quiet for our morning prayer. And so taking the beauty of the song and knowing that God is present right here and now, both in the softness and the gentleness of that recognition, and also in the enthusiasm and excitement of that same recognition. God is. Wow, God is. God is present right here and now. And this divine presence is moving in and through, around, and as all of creation. For there's nothing else anywhere. There's only God. Only this energy that I call life, that I call God, that I call holy, this energy vibrating, creating, becoming form, inhabiting form, and releasing form to become again. God, present right here and now. That vibration of love that is moving within each and every person and every single cell of creation. It is that love that is the compassion that knows that there is no other. There's only the divine in all people, places, things, in every star and every grain of sand. The great love that is the passion of the universe, that stands behind all of creation, the originating thought that says, yes, let there be. And there is. God, present right here and right now, as a peace that passes understanding, not based on worldly events, but on the connection and the understanding and the experience that God is in every event. That because of this oneness, no one is ever alone. There's always connection. God is present right here and now as that very creativity that we use to bring forward the spiritual qualities into every area of our lives. And as we seek to become and express and experience these qualities, it becomes more available in the world. 100% inside each one of us is love, peace, joy, wonder, and that divine quality called curiosity. wisdom. All of these things and more. The divine intelligence. Each one of us are made out of its yearning to know itself, to become, each one of us, to have an individualized experience, and to reveal more and more of itself always. And so in this moment, I declare the vitality of God as the experience of every cell within our bodies, bringing forward that vitality of life, of health, of happiness, of wholeness within our physical being. Knowing that our body is strong enough to allow our expression. I know in this very moment that divine wisdom is moving through our minds and that we are choosing love and life, joy and peace, that we are choosing the qualities of creativity and wonder and moving forward in abundance in new ways. Something new, something wonderful created through us this day. And while it is unique in this creation, it is flowing forward in a natural expression from what has been before. But it is not limited by that precedent. It can be anything. That's our job, to be creative in this moment. We bring forward the quality of love, compassion, and we love our neighbors as ourselves. We allow ourselves to love those who appear to be our enemies. This does not mean that we don't speak what is our truth, because we are here to speak. But that truth is spoken not from anger or revenge, but from deep spiritual understanding of wisdom and the desire for good for all. In this moment, we bless our homes, our families, our friendships, our communities with that divine harmony that brings forward the highest music of life. And we allow our relationships to be harmonized. We bring forward understanding as we stand together. In this moment, there's something great and wonderful happening. And that is the divine presence showing up everywhere. And so we speak a word of blessing for anyone that is silently holding a prayer request in their mind. For we know that that prayer, whether it is verbalized or not, is already being worked on by the divine presence, by that perfect love that brings forward life itself. In this moment, we allow ourselves to bring forward a blessing for our communities, for our state, for our country, and for our world. We speak a word of peace, peace on earth, and goodwill towards humankind. Doesn't matter what their personal belief is. For all of that understanding of God is cultural. and the truth lies within all of it. And so we send forward a blessing today. A blessing to every church and synagogue, to every mosque and temple, to every sangha and gurdwara, to every place that is considered sacred on this earth, which is all of it. We allow that blessing to radiate out from here, this sanctuary for spiritual living, into the world as light, as love, as peace and joy. We claim this also for ourselves, for we know that each person that comes here finds what they are looking for. With a deep sense of perfect love, we simply ask that we are prepared. And so we know that God prepares us.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
And so with a deep sense of gratitude for the life of God that lives itself as our lives now, a deep sense of thanksgiving for the love of God that has been placed in our hearts so that we may experience and express it, and a deep sense of gratitude for the creative power of God that takes this word and makes it form. And so with love, I simply let it be, and so it is. Amen. It's time now for our offering, and as our ushers come forward, we simply take our offering in our hand, and please repeat with me our sharing affirmation. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Amen. I'm going to go right into our announcements so that we can become complete, because we have a workshop in 45 minutes. So first off, the first thing I want to say, and this we are going to have music for. It is happy birthday to William, whose 91st birthday was yesterday, so it's 91 in a day. Let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. way, we have cake for you, but you have to share it. But there's cake next door. We have birthday cake for William, and we all get to share it today for our dessert. Thank you for having a birthday for us. Yeah.
He said his dad named him Bill because he came on the first of the month.
Well, hey,
I thought that was so funny.
it is funny.
That's what
You're
he
right.
told me. Great stories. Great stories. Yeah.
I also am celebrating because later this week on Thursday, Bernard is having a birthday. Happy birthday already. We'll get back to you on Thursday. And also, Shay Irwin is having a birthday on Saturday. So, it's 5-0. She thinks that's important. Oh, well, life is tough.
Nice. Bahamas for
Tell her she ain't seen nothing yet. Talk to William. She's only halfway there. All right. I do want to thank Linda Clark, who is doing our Sunday potluck with her team, and I'm grateful that she has a team and that they're all coming together to do that. And I thank her for being willing to provide for us. On our solar fundraising, I have to get back into the office and find out exactly where we are with that, but we are moving along, and I am grateful. Thank you. We have just a little bit more to go, I think, and I don't know, because it's totally possible that you guys have been generous while I've been gone. So, script today. We have our script sales today, and if you are interested in buying script, see Jim or I in the social hall immediately after or during our luncheon. I have some of your orders, but if you have not given me an order, please be willing to let us know. You pay today, and it is here delivered next week. So, visioning is this coming Saturday, August 8th at 10. We postponed it to the second week from the 1st because we were out of town. Our goddess workshop is today, and we have the archetype of Kuan Yin, which is compassion itself. And so I invite you to come see Care Castle Carnfield in the junior church today at 1:15 for us to have that continuing learning. I am delighted. Our summer concert, next summer concert is this coming Wednesday, and we have sold out. And they are a fabulous women's group that sings just amazing music. It's my music. I love it. I always feel like I'm rocking for about a month afterwards. So please come Wednesday at 7 o'clock. It is fabulous. We also, August 12th, have David and Jill Olivas doing. Now, it's my understanding you guys do know how to sing the blues, but it's jazz. They're doing jazz. Yes. Yeah, it's a good mix. All right, and then on August 19th we have the Sing for Joy Choir. So you want to be here for the next 3 Wednesdays, 7 o'clock. It's going to be fabulous and absolutely wonderful. We are starting this coming Thursday the Ancient Wisdom and Science of Mind class, and that is from 2 to 4. I have a certificated classwork for you. And if you need to sign up and let me know if you're coming so that we can make sure we have enough material. We have lunch and a movie on Saturday, August 15th. Christy and Jan are hosting. The movie is Awakened Mind, Know Thyself. And sign up in Harmony Hall so that we do have enough food. That is at noon on Saturday, August 15th. Great discussion after the movie. And we have Martha Bass presenting her workshop, The Mask We Wear, on Sunday, August 23rd at 1:15. And again, sign up in Harmony Hall. And we have a church, all-church cleanup fun party on Saturday, August 29th at 9:30. And I think we're going to focus in on Harmony Hall so that we have air conditioning going the whole time. And we have plenty to do in there. So come ready and willing and dress light, and we just get together to clean up our sanctuary. So thank you. Let's have our peace song. Okay.
peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my affairs.
Life is in my affairs.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I know it.
I know it.
And I accept it.
And I accept it.
Just the way that it is,
Just the way that it is.
and just the way that it is not.
Just the way that it is.
Thank you, life.
Thank you.
Amen.